Our flight from Columbus was packed with people heading home to Baltimore. They were glued to the TVs at our gate as parts of their city burned. By the time we landed, the riots had calmed down, but the national media and police were all over. The next morning, many parts of Baltimore were back to business as usual. Downtown at the Inner Harbor, there were few signs of any of the unrest from the night before, except for the National Guardsmen standing by.
With your faith.
That night, hundreds of people and pastors got together at a Northwest Baltimore church to bring the focus of the protests back to peace and justice and away from destruction.
We can police our communities, and we can step up and end a riot.
We're like a phoenix rising from the ashes tonight, starting a brand new chapter for what we believe is going to become a better Baltimore.
Set back up! No! I'm asking you one more time to back up!
But the riots returned briefly that night. A few miles away, a handful of people defied the citywide curfew. They were confronted by hundreds of Baltimore police officers decked out in riot gear. Cops shot pepper spray balls and used tear gas. A few people were taken into custody, but the unrest was nowhere near as intense as the night before. The next day, the Baltimore Orioles got back to work, but their scheduled home game was closed to the public. It was the first Major League Baseball game played with no fans in the stands. A few diehards watched from the gate, peering in from the outfield, but the disruptions from the riots and the city curfew were hitting local businesses hard.
From a financial standpoint, it's been devastating.
You know, it's hurting everybody. It's hurting a lot of the downtown guys, and the smaller operators are the ones that, are really getting hurt.
By Wednesday night, nearly all was calm, but the National Guardsmen were still standing by in case the rioting returned. I'm Ben Garbrick, ABC 6 News.
There are people who make us want to dig deep, to show them how much we love them.
Oh, she's gonna love this. She's gonna love it.
Christine Harvey is one of those people.
If anyone deserves this, it's your mama.
Tell me when. Okay, stop.
It's very hard to keep a secret from her. She's a normal mom, so it's hard anyway.
The secret is an expansive garden built for his mom, and she didn't see it coming.
We just wanted to love on you for a little bit.
No.
Christine Harvey has gone through a lot.
We have purposefully not gotten a real prognosis from the doctor. But, it's one of those things where we know how bad it is.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it.
Christine is facing her second battle with cancer and doesn't have much time left.
Yeah, that works. Oh, yeah, that works.
But no one here is thinking about that.
Every tear is joy here today. It's incredible.
Despite the fact that it tries to tell me every day that it's time to slow down, I'm fighting to not slow down yet.
And her spirit is what people say lifts theirs every day. A heart second to none.
She's incredible, and I'm just so thankful that she's been such a great mom for me, and I'm happy we can do something incredible for her.
It's perfect. It is perfect.
I love it.
These aren't firefighters.
Going off the bottom.
They're medical students, future doctors training with the jaws of life to see what a car accident victim
What way do you guys want to bring him out?
and firefighters
Get the backboard in there, guys.
might go through before the patient gets to the hospital.
Pretty powerful, to say the least.
So they'll know that environment they came from. The challenges for providing care in that environment a lot of times can be fairly dramatic.
Dr. Robert Lowe is the director of the Emergency Medicine Residency Program at Ohio Health Doctors Hospital.
And ultimately, the goal is they'll have a better ability to interact with their patients and care for the patients, knowing what they've been through.
Another eye-opener.
I'm guessing the end-tidal CO2 won't change.
The ride to the hospital.
We have this grand idea that an ambulance is a hospital on wheels, when in reality it's really just a small unit.
Dr. Andy Little says the cramped space and limited resources came as a surprise.
It's bumpy in an ambulance, sometimes you have to intubate patients on the ground. It's really not ideal settings, where most of what I do is in a nice controlled environment where it's organized chaos, not chaos.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Appreciation and life-saving teamwork when it matters the most.
Right, ready, 1, 2, 3, put them down. Good job.
In Prairie Township, Terry Sullivan, ABC 6 News.
They're standing here blocking from sidewalk to sidewalk. We want the crowd to go another direction.
Learning to read the crowds.
Squad 2, bikes rear.
These officers say the more they train, the better they are. And a rapid response is part of the goal.
Bikes are very mobile. They can get anywhere. We can ride them up and down steps. We can go through grass, through yards, and around cars. And we can get there fast. Guide right.
Columbus has 129 full-time bike patrol officers and double that number of bicycles that could be used if needed.
Back off.
Instructors say they're a good tool to be used in political protests.
We can use these bikes to keep particularly groups that are volatile toward each other, away from each other, and allow everybody to express their First Amendment rights.
Price tag on this bike about $2,000. Compare that to a cruiser at $50,000, and what these guys are doing here, well, it makes sense for Columbus.
Police tell us 15 bike officers can replace 40 on the street. Sergeant Dwayne Mabry says officers plan for the worst, like the volatile Baltimore riots. But officers think that approaching a tense crowd on a bike could defray some potentially violent situations.
And not see us as, some robot or some machine or some militarized gear with everything covering us from head to toe. This is a human being who's on a bike, who's out there beside you, keeping you safe.
While the bike patrols may be more vulnerable, these officers say they make people feel more connected to cops.
I mean, we're out here interacting with the public. We're a lot more approachable on bikes, too.
CPD officers say we can expect to see them patrolling before and after home OSU football games, something they hope will score points with all Buckeyes. In Columbus, Luann Stoya, ABC 6 News.
Ball didn't go as far.
He may get tired easier, but Tyler Brunell is like most 12-year-old guys. He plays football and hangs out with friends.
These legs don't move as fast as they used to.
Tyler is fighting leukemia after he was diagnosed this spring, but he's not giving up.
I don't want anybody saying like, oh, hey, I know that guy because he has cancer. I want to have it differently. Like, I know that guy because he did something good.
His friends have been great. The swim team, all of his friends.
Tyler hopes to be back on the swim team next summer. The Brunell family tells us having the support from the community is touching and humbling.
And now he's been feeling pretty good.
Tyler doesn't think any kid wants to lose his hair, but friends and his dad shaved their heads this summer.
You're not alone going through this, so it does tend to help lift you up.
Amy and Rick Brunell are gearing up for the 180-mile Pelotonia course. They have both ridden before, but now, with their son being treated for cancer, it has new meaning.
This year, I definitely have Tyler on my mind when I ride. I have a sticker on my handlebars that says I ride for Tyler.
You remember how to catch this?
Tyler tells us he's proud of his parents and of people who ride in Pelotonia. Sister Abby has advice for them.
Try not to wreck and finish strong.
The Brunells say every dollar donated for Pelotonia makes a difference, and there's one goal: end cancer.
I hope that someday my kids don't have to experience this. That they don't have to hear that their kids have cancer.
Because we got charged that by itself.
Seth Cooper and his dad work on a science project together.
If you feel it getting loose, then it's doing right.
The 11-year-old says he did not feel comfortable going to school today because of the threats. Investigators say a week ago a letter was sent threatening students and expressing anger about interracial dating.
Well, you should be able to date whoever you want, be friends with whoever you want.
Businesses here in the village were shocked when a second letter was sent Tuesday, and it specifically mentioned a threat of violence at Utica's annual Homecoming Fall Festival.
We have a right to know as the townspeople what's in that letter. What do we need to be worried about? Why are we canceling all these things?
The Coopers tell us there are a lot of good people in Utica, but Seth says he's been on the other end of racially motivated bullying.
Call me the M-word and say, nobody wants you here.
Small towns hide a lot. Big city, you can't hide because too many people are watching.
Many families sent their children to class. The superintendent says he's trying to get a sense of normalcy back here. Scott Hartley would not talk on camera, but says they think the threats were event-specific to homecoming. But for kids like Seth, it's more than that.
The KKK lives here. Everybody is okay with it. and nobody does anything about it.